Okay, here we go. Hello, this is Dr. Marcia, and I'm your life and business architect. And I am coming today with someone who I have grown very close to, known her for a little bit, Deb Davis. She is a well-esteemed headshot photographer and also the CEO of the Transparency Table. So, Deb Davis, welcome. How are you?
I am good, Dr. Marcy. It's so good to be with you here and so good to see you.
Yes, look, and also I have to say you've been one of my clients.
Yes.
So this has been a great journey, and I just want to celebrate you. We were just kind of doing some timelining, and
Mhm.
this time last year, I remember we were in Detroit. We
Mhm.
were in the photo room. And I could tell, or we were having a conversation about you doing
Mhm.
more than just photography. And that's a loaded question, loaded
Right.
statement. It isn't just photography, but I could tell you were looking to do something more. Take me back to that moment and what was going on back then?
That moment, Dr. Marcia, and I remember it oh so well because that for me was the transformational day. I would put like the pre-transformation, you know.
Mhm,
But what was going on? I was just getting back, really started with doing photography after having my surgery. So
mhm,
my whole mindset was totally different about just doing the status quo. I knew I had been called to do more. And
mhm,
just from the encounter with God telling me that, listen, you don't have as much time as you have behind you. The much you have less time in front of you than you
yeah,
had behind you. So
yeah.
I knew that I needed to get going with whatever that was. I honestly did not know 100% at that time, but after a conversation with you,
Mhm, mhm.
it just put like a whole lot of different things in perspective. It was as if you and God was having a conversation. And I was like, okay, girl, where did this girl come from? So,
Ah, I love it. Yes, it was, and so I'm glad that you mentioned that. And that was you took the stage at the Leadership Experience Tour a few weeks ago, and your message was about your breast cancer journey. And what
mhm,
it's showing me is that you had a life encounter, right? You had a major health
mhm,
situation that caused you to say, hold on, there's more to life than what I'm doing. And then
yes,
you were kind of like pushed into this zone of there's something more. I don't know what it looks like, but I know there's something more.
yes.
Okay. And that is
Right.
that's that zone that most of the folks that I coach and that I talk to, it's like they know there's more. They just don't know because that was me too. I was a
Mm,
physician for, 20 something years, and I found myself living the same year over and over again.
yeah.
And I knew I was living underneath of my potential. But
Hmm.
where do you go? And that's where the question mark, where do you go? And so for you, I think you came to my boot camp. Is that what happened?
Yes. I
Yes.
came to you invited me to your boot camp after that conversation that we had
Mhm,
in the photo room. And
mhm,
I said, I've got to go. And I knew that I needed to do more. I had been watching Sean Fair after I've been working with him. Actually, this was my 6th year.
oh
And
wow.
I had been watching him, I would say like maybe for 3 years, real closely,
Mhm, mhm,
and never would have thought that I would take the stage until, like I said, the Lord revealed to me that I told you a long time ago to go and tell your story. Now,
mhm.
I've been telling my story. I didn't know he was talking about getting on the stage and tell your
Yeah, you
story.
could tell it. Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah.
so
Yeah. No, that's
yeah.
powerful. That's powerful. So you come to the boot camp, and what did you discover in the boot camp?
Oh my goodness. I discovered so much. And I'm gonna say this and because now I can clearly say that I do. When I first came to the boot camp, I have two businesses. And the question that stuck out with me the most was I had just started the transparency table maybe a few months, maybe after my surgery, maybe January, maybe about 4 or 5 months.
Mhm.
And I remember this question, and it sticks with me all the time. You asked us, how many of you have a platform? And I was confident. Yes, I got a platform. And then going through all of the material, how you prepared us to not only do our mission statement, but how to just put everything together. I literally walked away from the boot camp thinking I had a platform and not really knowing that I didn't. But that's why really another reason what compelled me to kind of stick close to you because I'm like, okay, it's something here. It's something
Mhm.
here. But
Mhm.
that boot camp was life-changing for me.
Mhm.
Um, the things that we did in the boot camp from mission statement to building our platform to putting on a program. I literally had to put a masterclass together right after a 3 day boot camp. Who does that?
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
So, who does that? But I felt so confident after the 3 day boot camp that I was starting to push my chest out, and I was like, it's something to this, and it was just something about being in the boot camp, being attached to Dr. Marcia, that I said, you know what, this is the lane that I'm supposed to be in. It was like
Mhm.
the dots was connecting. The
Mhm.
Lord told me, okay, you need to do something. And he put people in place. And it was just a few of you all that he put in my pathway. And it was like the dots was connecting. So connecting with you that day in the photo room because you was telling me some stuff that the only the Lord had told me. And I said, what is going
Mm.
on?
Oh, thank
And
you.
and afterwards I realized that there's not too many people that I can say that the Lord has showed me that you're connected to my destiny some type of way. And I
Mhm.
knew I had to stay close. And I'm
Mhm.
so glad that I did.
Yes, I'm so glad that you did too. And that was a powerful moment. And one of the things that you are uncovering for me is that there are many times when we know where we want to go, right? We have an
Mhm.
idea. I want to have that type of an impact, or I want to take the stage, or I want to, whatever, whatever, right? But frequently we don't have the actual steps, right?
Mhm.
People will say, "Oh yeah, I did it," but they don't show you how to get there. And that's one of the things that I make sure that I do in the boot camp is I give you the step by step, the practical part so that you can actually build something in those 3 days, right? So for your boot
Yeah.
camp was 3 days. Now we're down to 2 days. But in those, whatever 2 or 3 days that you're in, that you're able to come away with something that is built. That's what it used to be called creature stage. Now it's called stage builder. By the
Mhm.
by the second day, you have you've built that stage. And the other part that I think is very important is that I'm a life and business coach, and there were
Mhm.
some life things that you shared with me that you had to work through in order for you to step into this version of you that could now carry this platform forward. So, can you speak to that in your own way?
Yes. Um, it was a lot of fear.
Hmm.
And that's where now I can walk in it. But I was afraid. And I know you remember the conversation where I was so worried about what people were going to say.
Hmm.
And I'll be very candid. It was more so in the ministry. I'm a
Hmm.
licensed missionary. I ran a women's group before, and now I don't do that, but I'm coming out here in the what they will call quote unquote secular world, and I'm doing almost the same thing. So I was afraid of how I was going to get talked about, what was going to be said. Was I going to look at like I was being, had betrayed someone or anything like that?
Hmm.
And I just remember the conversation that you said. and I don't remember the exact words, so I'm going to paraphrase, but you said, this is your business. Nobody is paying your bills but you. And when God put a mandate on you, it has nothing to do with anybody else. And I
Mhm.
just remember that. There's some more conversations that we had, but it took me a while to really feel like I could be confident enough because I had been silenced. My voice had been shut down. So I
Yeah.
felt like for so many years that I really wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing because um I'm a big stickler about following leadership, and I just felt like I was just doing the right thing even though my voice was stifled. I was
Hmm.
silenced.
Hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's
and
good.
after finding out, a lot of it I did to myself.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we always do that, yes.
So
What I say is that there are people who do box us in, but then what we do,
yeah.
the people pleasers in the world, what we do is we then put up boundaries inside of those walls
Mm,
and we box ourselves in so that we don't have to deal with the pain of being boxed in, right? So
yeah,
we're just shrinking
yeah.
as we're doing this. And so I think when you said about what I said to you, I may
Hmm.
have said something like, Deb, who's the CEO?
Yeah.
Are you the CEO?
Right.
Are you the CEO of your business?
Hmm.
Right? Nobody is paying you. Nobody is buying your food and your clothes
Yeah.
and your paying your electric bill.
Right.
It's your business. So you gotta
Yeah.
you gotta act like it's your business. It's my business. This is how I'm gonna I'm throw it back to oh gosh, what's her name? Who talks about I'm minding my
Oh
business.
yeah, I'm minding my business.
We mind our business, okay?
Yes.
So no, but I love it. And so
Yeah.
how you did your event,
Hmm.
you coached people, you got clients in, and how did that feel?
You know what? It felt it was more like a validation because
Hmm.
I'm such a giver, and I just wanted to just give
Give it
what
away.
God has given me. And then just between you and a few other people, it's like, okay, well, no, this is your business. So, this is what you have to do. So when I started doing the challenges and the masterminds, and then the first client that paid me, I was like, oh, okay, this is how this is supposed to feel. So yeah, it felt really good, and not so much as just because she paid me, but it validated that I'm on the right track, that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do by helping women.
Right.
And
Right.
honestly, it's like no looking back for me now.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I want to say there was there were a couple shifts, and one of the shifts was when you were to, quote unquote, pitch your program
Hmm.
at the end of your
Yeah.
event, and and you didn't, right? And so I remember on a call, coaching call, and we got it right, right? It was upside down. We made it
Yeah.
right side up. I'm like, you know what? This is what you need to do. This is what I want you to do. And from there, then you were like,
Hmm.
okay, I understand how this is working, okay? But then there was another shift, okay? And being part of life coaching for business builders, there was a strategy that I taught that you actually just ran with it,
Yeah.
and you kind of went over um, into the corporate space, and
Hmm.
you were receiving, so it was a merge of the photography and the transparency table. You had an
Yes.
event that
Mhm.
you had done, and that now
Yes.
combined photography with transparency table, which was a major
Hmm.
like aha for you. Tell us
Yes.
tell us what that strategy did for you. And I also want you to speak to, I need you to put some numbers and some dollar signs
Hmm.
on what
Okay.
type of revenue creation you had from that single strategy.
Okay. Well, the strategy was in one of our sessions, Dr. Marcia talked about doing a LinkedIn article. a LinkedIn newsletter, because there's a difference.
Mhm.
And from there, I had been already kind of thinking because on LinkedIn, all I do is Detroit City headshots. So I'm like, okay, this is strictly just for photography. Then I'm going to do transparency table over here. I'm not going over into the corporate world with transparency table because I honestly didn't know how to.
Mhm.
And then when you said the newsletter, and then I was thinking about being confident because I'm trying to teach women how to be authentic, be more confident about who you are. And then I do the same thing with photography. So I'm ushering people in front of the camera, and I have women that comes in telling me that they're not photogenic, that they're not confident, that they're just not enough. So I'm hearing all these key words and I'm like, wait a minute, this is kind of, I'm coaching you 30 minutes before I even start clicking my shutter. So I'm like, okay, somewhere this have to connect. And I
Mhm.
just began, I remember literally going in prayer, like, okay, God, how do I bring all of this together? Because it's not no longer just two separate businesses. And I didn't want it to be two separate businesses, but that's how I was running it because I
Mhm.
didn't want my photography clients knowing, okay, well, she doing coaching. Is she still a photography or what she, so long story short, I got the workshop name and it was like confidence on camera or camera ready confidence, something
Mhm.
to that effect. And I
Mhm.
had this workshop at my studio. It was a 4 hour workshop, sold out, had 8 people, and people was blown away. And from there, it was like, yeah, this is it. This is it. And then we did the newsletter. And when I put the newsletter, I was not afraid to put it on LinkedIn and talk about the transparency table and Detroit City headshots all together. I put it on LinkedIn and that changed everything. I remember us sitting in the class and you was telling us how well it was doing for you. And I was like, okay, I'm about to do this newsletter too. Few days I started getting all these subscribers and everything was coming. I got a call from a lady. I believe she was like the UAW or some kind of way where they was working with women and they wanted me to come in and do a headshot job. And I went in $3,000 just from my newsletter. I landed that job. From there, I started getting other offers. I got a medical office. All of these was just subscribers that was going on my newsletter. I got a $2,500 job. I got another job that's coming up in September where I got to shoot 200 headshots. All of these are just subscribers from my newsletter. And I'm like, okay, something is clicking here. And not only that, the women that I photographed, it was a paralegal office that I photographed. And this woman is one particular lady that has been following me ever since. I did her headshot. She talked about how good her headshot was. And then she said, oh, I've been following you ever since you photographed my headshot. And I see that you work with women. She's coming to my masterclass next Thursday. She said, I need to know a little bit more about what you do with this women thing. Because if you did a headshot like you did a headshot, I know what you do for women. And I was just like, all of this from the LinkedIn strategy of doing a newsletter. Now I'm on my third newsletter now. Because
What?
I
What?
think
What?
with that whole thing, you could do up to 5 newsletters. So
Mhm.
everything is talking about camera confidence and
Love
people
it.
are following.
Love it, love it, love it. Didn't you tell me that there was also a company that it was the largest something or other
The
and
largest financial company. Now, I can't say the company name because I
Mhm.
can't really, when I
Mhm.
photograph financial companies because of
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah.
I can't really say the name.
Mhm.
But that was it's one of the largest financial companies here in Detroit, Michigan. So if y'all in Detroit, Michigan, you probably already know, but I'm not still saying their name. But yes, I landed that job.
And how many headshots?
That one, I believe, is going to be 160 to 250, somewhere like that. They kind of
Mhm.
give you a range because I go into their conference room, but at
Mhm.
least it's a minimum of 160 up until 250.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
That's
that was the largest. That one is like 6,500
Look,
today.
I'm trying to do the math, but
Yeah.
it's sounding like things are just rolling, 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 rolling.
Hmm.
Just from being in the coaching program, just from a single strategy,
Yes.
executing it, and you're still, this is going to continue to roll. And I love how the two are fit together,
Yeah.
and you're helping women and men, but also corporate, but also personal. Also,
Yeah.
I mean, it is just a phenomenal, fabulous, all the pieces fitting together. So I want to say congratulations,
Thank you.
for your success, for the financial, pieces as well, but also for the
Mhm.
validation and for just how you continue to shine and show up. Okay. And so I had the opportunity to witness you take the stage, right? The big stage in Detroit for Leadership Experience Tour. You were phenomenal. And this was part of the journey, right? You had
Yes.
some goals that you wanted to make it to.
Mhm.
And I love how the business part of it was working as well. Tell us about your experience and what's next for you.
That experience was, I would say, an experience of a lifetime. I had no idea what I was really preparing for, but I knew it was something different. And I knew that when I go back and I say the Lord told me to tell my story, that it encompassed getting on stages. And I
Hmm.
knew that I needed to go and pursue LET.
Hmm.
It's a beast. It's no joke. It's no joke. And but that felt really, really good. Not the culmination of everything, but it almost felt like this is the beginning. You
Oh,
know,
that's
it
good.
feels like that this is the beginning of
Yeah.
me being obedient to
Yeah.
what I was told to do. So that, I mean, just the beyond the anxiety, beyond
Hmm.
the weight and stuff on the shoulder, it felt like I really did and accomplished what I had been told to do over 30 years ago.
30 years ago?
Over 30 years ago, I had a
Wow.
mandate all my life to
Wow.
tell my story. Now, yeah, the story has evolved. It's a whole different type of story, but even the story that I was told to tell way back then is still part of what
Part
I'm
of the
telling
story.
to
Yeah.
now.
It's an evolution.
It's the
I love it.
evolution.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it. Yes. I've been on that stage 3 times. So I get it. And
Yeah.
it's definitely a personal, um, it's a feat. It's a growth, it's a transformation,
Yes.
that happens when you take a big stage. So congratulations.
Mhm.
Um, I want to, and we'll close, I think, with this. Um, we talked about taking big stages,
Mhm.
but I'm also going to talk about taking smaller rooms.
Mhm.
Okay. And we talked about my boot camp, and you have come at least, I don't know, is it 6 times, 7 times?
Yeah, at
I don't
least
know.
6 or 7
Right?
times.
You came
Mhm.
as, as a participant the first time, and then you came as a ongoing client.
Mhm.
But the thing that I want to highlight is how you served the women
Mhm.
who came to my boot camp, right? How we would put you in a breakout room, and it would be matched up perfectly, and uh you were led to minister
Mhm.
to those women in the room
Mhm.
when you didn't have to, right?
Right.
But it was ordained because
Mhm.
they needed you. And when we come out of the breakout room, you would say something, or if I like to tell people to volunteer,
Mhm.
each other. And so you would volunteer somebody in your group,
Yeah.
and that then would lead to their transformation. And you did that over and over. and over and over
Mhm.
and over again. And so I want to say thank you for being who you are, but also for being a vessel for
Yeah.
someone else's transformation, even when it wasn't necessarily your event or your thing. You didn't matter. And so that is, I think, the call in your life.
Yeah.
And that is just being willing and able to serve at a
Mhm.
high level and being able to pull out what's going on. And so this speaks to the transparency table.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
you're able, when your skill set doesn't just stop,
Yeah.
it it flows to the next. And so for those women who you serve, the women that I serve,
Mhm.
we know we have something to give, but sometimes what we're giving is something that is pulling them closer to
Yeah.
us, or better yet, pulling them closer to themselves.
Yes.
All
Mhm.
right. So I'm gonna let you just speak on however you want to take that.
Okay. Wow. Thank you so much, first of all, Dr. Marcia. And this is going to tie into when you say what's next.
Hmm.
What's next for me is to continue to cultivate the restored voice, because that's basically the transformation that I have received. My voice has been restored. And I know what it feels like for a woman to be in a room or to be amongst people, amongst her peers, amongst in ministry, all over, and not have a voice.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
that's the mandate that's on my life. And that's why I can see the women whose voices have been silenced.
Yes.
So over at the transparency table is where I create that sacred and safe space for those women that have been carrying so much for so
Hmm.
long,
Hmm.
dimming their lights for so long, afraid to use their voice because for whatever reason they feel like it's not useful
Hmm.
because you have been told you talk too much.
Hmm.
For whatever that reason may be, I want to help those women to reclaim their voice, walk in their authentic self, and to be who God called them to do, not who man called them to be. You know what I mean? So I am looking to continue to get on whatever platform it is. I'm no respecter of a person because wherever God takes me, I often say my ministry has never been within the four walls. I
Hmm.
work so well during street ministry, one-on-one ministry. So you can't stop me now because my voice has been restored.
Say that again.
You can't stop me
Yeah,
now
that's
because
right.
my voice has been restored. So
I
I am
love
taking
it.
this restored voice
Restored voice.
all over the world.
I love
And
it.
those are the women that I want to reach.
I love it. I love it. So for those women who need that to reclaim their voice
Mhm.
and they need the transparency table, how can they get a hold of you?
They can reach me on all social media platforms under The Transparency Table. My website is thetransparencytable.com.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And as we get out of here, in closing, I want you just to speak to the role of the Life Coaching for Business Builders program in your transformation and what you would say to someone who is looking to, find that platform and
Yeah.
get this thing going.
What I would say is don't ignore the small voices that you hear on the inside. Dr. Marcia, you have a way and a gift that you pull things out of every woman that I've been encountered with in the coaching program. You know exactly how to pull those things out of you. So I would say don't minimize the voices and the things that you hear. There's something so much more and so much greater that's in you that can come out. And you can't do it by yourself. I tried so many years. I used to be one like, I don't need no coach. I used to say like all these coaches, everybody a life coach, everybody this and all. And what am I right now? I'm a coach
Coach.
because you need that team. You need that community of people that's going to be around you that can see some things in you that you cannot see yourself and to help you to cultivate those things. That is what this coaching program has done for me. I have grown so much in a year's time.
Yes.
In a year's time. I mean, I be baffled sometimes, like, whoa, okay, is this still the Deb Davis that was looking in the mirror worrying about what somebody was gonna say?
It's not different. She different.
So, so it's so transformational and you give so much more than the value is so much greater than
Hmm.
what you're going to invest.
Yeah.
I've always said that. I'm like, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Yes.
you for saying that. And I mean, you were a pillar in the group, and there was that moment when you and your other cohort members graduated, and I mean, literally, everybody's like, "No!" Right? Because
Yeah.
you
We did
all's
not want
group
to go.
you all's group didn't want to go, but you all's group had a standard
Mm,
that you all were working from. And it was, and anybody who's been in a coaching program, you kind of know the people that are out front running, those that are, have been successful, and you're trying to stay up and you just kind of being close so you can know what's going on. But you definitely set a standard. I appreciate, your presence, your value.
thank you.
And I am just excited about watching you, seeing you shine, and all the places that you will be going
Yeah.
from here. Deb Davis,
Yeah.
congratulations. It's a pleasure for me to have known you and to have coached you. That's a deep honor of mine. And
Yes.
just to see you blossom and grow and do all the things, as I said, it definitely makes these are the things that makes coaches smile and say, you know what, this is why I do what I do.
Yeah.
I help to um, help you harness the power of your story, right? Help
Mhm.
you to build that
I love
that
that.
platform that's authentic to
Definitely do
you,
that.
and
Yes.
then to create the steps, that's going to take you on that pathway to
Hmm.
success. And
Yeah.
so I sit here looking at you,
Yeah.
you as a successful entrepreneur, not only in the photography, but also in
Hmm.
your coaching transparency table platform. Amazing, amazing, amazing.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you for sitting down with me. And I can't wait until the next time I get a chance to see you.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Okay. Well, thank you. Have a great rest of the day. And the state will I'm going to be following you. Take and keeping an eye on you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I tell you, you can't get rid of me now, Dr. Marcy.
I love it. I love it. And for those that are watching, if you're interested in tapping into life coaching for business builders, you can go to drmarcia.com, drmarcea.com. You can also come to the free boot camp. It's called Stage Build Her. You can find that at drmarcia.com/stage build her. All right. Well, take care.
All right.